change your heart, change your life, change the planet. It's late afternoon and I finally got myself up to Woodford to go for a run through the snow. We got about 3 more inches of snow up here. Real dense new snow on top of a foot of really hard-packed, bulletproof snow. So it's about 15 inches of snow that's not going anywhere, which is one of the things I love about Woodford. It's always winter up here. And it's just a 10-minute drive away from my house. Or I could actually run directly to Woodford behind my house on trails, but it'd take me more than 10 minutes. Anyway, it was hard to get myself out the door today because I had a lot of stuff going on. And it was all good stuff, and I really enjoyed it. But it's important to me that I move my body every day, even if I'm not running, which I don't do a lot of anymore due to my Achilles issue, which I'm still working on. But I still need to move my body somehow. So a lot of the times I'll just put on the big boots and go for a walk. The boots make it more challenging, but they don't stress my Achilles out. And I get to explore the woods and listen to a great book or lecture. So one of the things that I do to kind of grease that path for myself is get myself excited about the book that I'm listening to. Dan Siegel again in Mindsight, just so rich with really valuable information. But I don't allow myself to read that book when I'm sitting still. Like, that's the deal I have with myself. I have to be doing something. I have to be moving or driving before I can listen to any book. So it's like, oh, I really want to get in and finish that book and get some more information. So let's head up to Woodford. So I'm kind of killing 2 birds or massaging 2 birds with one hand. I guess I don't want to kill them. So getting out here allows me to listen to the book. It allows me to be out here. And when I'm out here, I absorb the information in the book much better. Like if I sit down and try to study something, my retention is not that great. But if I get out and move my body in an environment that's inspiring to me, then I really, really absorb so much more. And I'm aligning the right and left hemispheres of my brain, my right and left prefrontal cortex, because my body is moving in opposition, because both sides of the brain are firing. So you get better integration of information when you're moving your body in a way that uses both sides out of balance, like running or walking. Especially trail running, because it's unbalanced. There's a lot more neuromuscular firing going on. Anyway, I'm about to finish up the book and learning a whole lot more about attachment style and learning a lot about myself inside of that. I had a great conversation with a family member today who's going through some challenging times in a relationship and talking about the stories that our brain wants to make about what happened and about what's going on and about where to go from here. And I'll let you know, I'm an avoidant attacher. But if I do get close to somebody, if I allow myself to get close to somebody, then an anxious attachment style will emerge. So I'm normally avoidant, but then if I take a risk, which doesn't happen a lot, then I become really anxious. And it's just a pattern that formed when I was a child. It's the way my brain is now set up. Really, 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 really hard, if not impossible, to get rid of. Because in the formative years, when my brain was forming, this is how the circuits reset itself up. So the trick is not to try to get rid of it. The trick is to realize that it's there. It's a pattern. And it's going to get triggered, and learning what to do when it does get triggered. Rather than using your powerful prefrontal cortex to make up stories about what you're feeling, or about what the other person did, or about what they didn't do, you simply say, wow, I'm really anxious right now. I'm really triggered. Or, I really want to run away. I want to be avoidant. I want to cut and run. I want to come up with 100 reasons why this isn't the right person for me, which is what my family member was doing. It's not going to work, not the right guy, not the right girl. It just wasn't meant to be, and I should have seen that earlier. And when you start coming up with reasons like that, it's an avoidant tendency. Like, why am I not in a relationship? Because I'm an avoidant attacher. It's really easy for me to find reasons not to get into a relationship. But when I do, then I'm scared to death that they're going to leave me. Please don't leave me. So what do? I spend most of my time alone in the woods or alone doing research because it's just easier for me with that avoidant attachment style. But the more I learn about my attachment circuitry, the more space I have to allow it to exist, to allow it to be triggered, but then not be reactive. Like, yeah, wow, I feel this. My body, holy cow, is my chest just going nuts and my stomach is going nuts and my mind is like feeding me all this information. Okay, I can just notice that. I can allow that to happen. I don't have to be reactive. I don't have to call somebody and say, you did this and it's not cool, or just never call them again. I can reach out to them and say, man, my brain's having a field day right now. And whoa, my chest is just going nuts. My heart is going to come right out of my chest. And it's so tight and tense and there's so much fear. And I can just talk about it. Not hoping that they'll fix it. Not expecting them to do something or respond a certain way. But simply share it, like, this is what's going on. My circuitry got triggered. My attachment style is emerging. And it doesn't feel good. And one of the reasons that I've been sleeping so well recently is that's what I'm doing. I'm just talking about it. When I get triggered, I talk about it. And I talked about it with my family member today. And, got them to look at the stories that they make up and the justifications that they have. And it's all based on this really old circuitry that was set in place when we were kids. So be careful what you use your cognitive brain for. It's really good at figuring things out that shouldn't be figured out. It's really good at finding a solution to a problem that doesn't really exist. Right? So allow it. Give yourself some space. Let yourself be triggered, but don't be reactive. Let yourself have the feelings, talk about the feelings, name the feelings, describe the feelings, and then share it, saying, wow, I'm really scared right now. Or I feel like I've got all this abandonment stuff coming up. And it doesn't feel good. Because the moment you share it, you start to feel safe. The moment you share it, you start to get some space between you and it. And you start to realize that it's not you. It's just something that you're feeling. But it doesn't define you. Okay? All right, it's getting dark, so I got to get out of here and down the mountain. I'll see you later.